What's up, guys? Guerrilla Chemist here, live in the office with IFBB Pro, Laurin Conlin. What's up, Laurin?
Hey.
Fellow scientist. Both of us get this question a lot and about Glycolog, which is one of our top products, and people are kind of confused on how to properly use it or optimize using it. So we wanted to kind of discuss some of the things that people do, I don't want to say incorrectly, but to maximize the purpose of this product. So what do most people ask you?
Just basically how to use it, how much should I eat with it, when should I take it, things like that. The number one thing that you've always told me is that for a full serving with 3 capsules, you need at least 40 grams of carbs.
Yeah, I would say 40 to 50 is what I recommend.
I've taken it with 40 and been fine. So as a female competitor, I'm very sensitive to the fact that a lot of other female competitors who are dieting probably wouldn't have 40 carbs maybe at every meal. So what I started doing, because I asked you about this during dieting, was if I took 2 capsules, maybe with like 25 carbs, would that still be okay? And I was fine with that. I never felt hypo with it. But the biggest reason that you do want to take the 40 carbs is because you will feel hypoglycemic, and then that's no fun. Right. Obviously, especially if you're dieting. When you're not dieting, if you start to feel hypo, you can just have a little bit of food and you'll be okay. But if you are dieting, you don't want to feel like that, of course.
It was interesting. I actually never even thought about that way about separating the dose. Obviously when I formulated it, I wanted to maximize the dose on everything. So I never thought about taking 1 cap per 10 grams of carbs or something. So Laurin was pretty innovative, I would say, with something like that, and if it works for her, that's cool. I personally, like most of the time I'm keto, but when I was using this product, when I was taking carbohydrates, I would focus specifically around pre and post. I think that's the most important time that your body is gonna uptake all these nutrients properly and maximize the use of this product, because it's supposed to increase insulin sensitivity and help with GLUT4 expression, which is the molecule that helps get glucose inside your cell. If you take it with carbohydrates and before training, you can physically feel this product working by having a cell swelling effect from all those carbs going into your muscles. And so, and then post-workouts, which can be, I would say you can take this product within 3 hours of your last serving.
That's a question we get a lot too. Yeah. Like how often, or how long do you need to wait?
How close together can you take it?
But typically most people, I'd say, would have their pre-workout meal, go to the gym, train, get back from the gym, and then by the time they're ready to eat again, that'd probably be about 3 hours.
So I would say if you take it with your pre-workout meal, and then you pre-workout, then train or whatever, and then when you get home, that should be around 3 hours later, take it again. Again, I recommend about 50 grams of carbs with it, as well as amino acids or whatever protein shake you want, or whole foods. My go-to was white rice, personally, because I like to eat food rather than drink food, but plenty of people use like Formula 19 or make a protein shake or something like that. So the key here is to make sure you get enough carbs, and if you do feel hypoglycemic, if you don't know what that feels like, you start getting sweaty or you start shaking a little bit, you get dizzy. The most important thing is to start getting sugar into your body. So Gatorade or something like that, a quick source of glucose, if you do start feeling that way.
Let's talk about the fat, how optimally how you want to structure that around training. This is something else that a lot of people wouldn't think about. I honestly didn't think about it either when I first started taking it, and then I don't know, I think I just asked you about it one time, or I was just thinking in my head about it, and then it's not something that was super intuitive, and then when I did think about it, I was like, oh, this is really important, and we need to make sure that we tell people about this.
Right. So insulin, which is a storage hormone, can store fat or carbohydrates. So this product was actually made to obviously store carbohydrates inside your muscles, which is what you want, but it can store fat if you have super high fat meals. I don't recommend taking the product optimally with a super high fat meal, but the caveat to that would be that this product does lower insulin levels, and it does partition your nutrients, meaning that it can specifically lower insulin levels so you don't get a big spike, and shuttle those into either glycolysis to be burned off as fat or energy, or stored as glycogen. So with that being said, I do believe that this product can lower your insulin levels if you're taking it with like a cheat meal, like some people do. I still think that it's better to do that with Glycolog than without, because you'll lower your insulin levels, which will cause your body not to have a huge spike in insulin, obviously, which is the storage part. So once you have a huge spike of insulin, your body will go into like a storage mode. But if you have Glycolog, which is lowering your body's natural insulin levels, and you have fats in there, it's less likely that those fats will be stored into your cells. Does that make sense?
Because it is a nutrient partitioner, like you said, you already are going to preferentially push a lot of the food that you're eating to the muscles. Right. So if you're having a cheat meal or a very large refeed meal, you're probably eating in excess of calories that you need. So why not push some of those towards the muscle with Glycolog? So as we both said, you'll hear us say optimally taking it around training, because that typically coincides with a higher carb, lower fat meal.
Right.
But if you are going to have a really large bolus of food, whether it's a refeed day or a cheat meal, then taking this would be more advantageous, we would think also.
Yeah.
But on a daily basis, you would probably want it with higher carbs, lower fat.
If you're trying to put on, quality size and muscle pre and post workout with carbs and protein, the creatine and stuff like that, I think is optimal. If you're taking it to help with digestion of like a refill meal because you have so many carbs or fats or something like that, I think this will aid in the digestion as far as like partitioning more of the carbs towards the glycolysis, so you're burning them off instead of just storing them. So you can take it with a cheat meal or a refeed meal. Optimally, I would take it pre and post. That's how I tell people to do it. You can take it with your first meal in the morning. We recommend 2 servings a day, spaced out, like I said, with your biggest carb meals. And if you do feel hypoglycemic, which, like we said, shaky or anything like that, make sure you immediately take more carbohydrates.
And the last thing, again, if you are a dieting female who maybe doesn't have all those carbs to play around with, typically, no matter how sad your day is, you probably at least have 25 carbs. So you could have at least 2 pills for either pre or post. I'd probably say pre, just to like maximize the pump, because when you are on a lower carb diet, we all know that we can't really get a pump as well. So this does help with that. So for me, if I was on a really low carb day, I would maybe take 2 pills with my pre-workout meal, and then I'd be good to go. But that's really just preference. And again, ideally you want to structure your carbs around training so that you can have this. But if you don't have that and you're on like a depletion week or something like that, then this would be helpful at least in one meal.
Right. I agree with everything that she just said about when to take it, and I do think that the most important is the pre, for sure. And the coolest thing about it is you'll feel the product.
Yeah.
Like, the pumps are kind of insane, and I didn't expect it when I was formulating the product.
Yeah, so it's like the best side effect.
You'll definitely feel that the carbohydrates are going into your muscles when you take it. So check out Glycolog, blackstonelabs.com.